It's the Big Mahomes show, come my homie, get with it. Play, talk, listen, you love it, so go repeat it. Play, talk, listen.
Yes, sir, it's that time again. Welcome to the Big Mahomes show. I'm your host, Pat Mahomes, and today's guests are KC fans, but we're talking about all things playoff. Welcome to the show from the Spoken, Lance Twidwell, Shaggyshane show, Shaggyshane. And, of course, from the ship, Darren Smith. Hey, fellas. Hey, tell everyone where we can find you on your airwaves, and let's get ready to chop it up.
Absolutely. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and our weekly show on YouTube. It's the Spoken Podcast. We do that each and every week. We talk mostly Chiefs, but we reach all across the board, man, and we get it going, man. We've been doing this since 2010. And like I said, if you're a fan of any sports-related content, we're the place for you, man. So definitely visit us.
I'm honored and humbled to be on Ebony Sports Podcast Network on the Big Mahomes Show. Pat Mahomes, Darren Smith from 810 WHB, Lance Twidwell of the Spoken. You can find me on YouTube. Just search Shaggyshane Chiefs, and on Facebook, Shane Williams, on Twitter at Shaggyshane KC.
As Shane said, it's a pleasure to be on the show once again. Darren Smith, of course, host of the ship on Sports Radio 810 WHB, as well as Fox Sports Radio, KLKC, and Parsons, and also co-host of Darren and Sterling on ESPN Kansas City, where you can tune in Monday through Friday from 3 to 4 p.m. Central. And of course, I do the Chiefs Cheat Sheet pregame show before all the Chiefs home and away games, as well as the Red Hour, which you can find via your social media apps Mondays, the day following the Chiefs win or loss at 6:30 from the Soiree Steakhouse, Steak and Oyster House in Kansas City, Missouri. So that being said, you can find me on social media at Darren Smith WHB on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Well, let's get this thing on the road. You know, I was fortunate enough to meet all you fellows, you know, in 2017 after Patrick got drafted for the Chiefs. Hey, y'all always treated me like brothers. It's been a pleasure to do some stuff with Shaggy. I've done a few things with Lance and Darren as well. But I just want to say, you know, I said fans. I mean, y'all are not fans. Y'all are really, really Chiefs guys. And I love getting the real, you know, watching you on the Spoken, watching Darren with what he's doing, watching Shaggy with what he does. And I know that the fans are you know, can be fair weather, but y'all are guys that really, you know, pour your heart and soul out to the Chiefs. I mean, y'all think it all the way through, like GMs, like coaches, and everything y'all say, you know, it's not opinion. It's what y'all really feel and believe, and that's one thing that I have really appreciated over the years, you know, of getting to know y'all. So now going on, you know, almost 4 years. I guess it is 4 years. It's been 4 years, and we've had a lot of success and everything. So I'm going to start it out with you, Lance. We're going to talk about the NFC with the matchups, who you got and why. You know, of course, we got the Eagles versus the Buccaneers. We got the 49ers versus the Cowboys, and we got the Cardinals versus the Rams. Lance, give me your picks. Who you got in those three games?
When it comes to Eagles and Bucks, this is a game that was actually pretty close earlier in the year. The Eagles were a team that was still trying to very much find themselves, and the Bucks were a lot healthier back then. I think this is going to be a really interesting matchup, and I think it's not absurd to think that the Eagles could pull the upset off, but I just don't think that at the end of the day, the Bucks are going to allow that to happen. Quite frankly, I think the NFL would really like the Bucks to stay alive and keep the potential of a Patriots versus their Super Bowl alive as well. So I just want to throw that one in there. But I definitely think that the Bucks are going to – I think they're the better team still, but the Eagles have really found their run game. They have an incredible offensive line, and Jalen Hurts deserves his respect. It's going to be a close game, but I'm going to stick with the Bucks in this one. The 49ers, to me, are the team that I think that people have forgotten about. Before the season started, I was on Darren's show, actually, and I actually predicted that the Chiefs and the 49ers would meet again in the Super Bowl this season. Now, it's a different scenario. I thought that Trey Lance was going to take over, but Jimmy Garoppolo has done enough to show that he can still play quarterback at a high level in this league, and he's going to get a second job somewhere else after the season is over. The 49ers are a very formidable bunch. I think Kyle Shanahan has really got this team focused. I think the Cowboys, honestly, are probably the better team overall, but I think they got a lot of miscues, and I think it starts from the top. I think Jerry can be a distraction, and I think Mike McCarthy is a very incompetent head coach, especially when it comes to game management, time management. So I'm going to go with the 49ers, a team that can run the ball and run the ball successfully. Deebo Samuel is maybe the most underrated player in this league, and I think the Niners are going to get this victory and upset the Cowboys because everyone's penciling them in to continue to go down this path the Cowboys haven't been down in about 30 years. And when it comes to the Rams and Cardinals game, look, this is the most unpredictable one to me because these teams know each other so damn well. And I think the Rams are the team that everyone just pencils in. And honestly, the Cardinals look like the better team for the majority of this season. But Kyler Murray is a guy that I love, but I also have so much trust issues with simply because of his size and his ability to stay durable. That's a problem that I see with Kyler Murray. And I think the Cardinals, with their coaching staff also being one that I think isn't at the level of a Sean McVay when it comes to Cliff Kingsbury, who I do like, but I've seen some inconsistencies with some of his decision-making in big games. I have to take the Rams in this one because I think that they've given up far too much for guys like Jalen Ramsey and Matthew Stafford and guys like that and going and getting Von Miller. I have to believe a team like that was all in, put all their chips in there, are going to get at least one playoff victory. And I think the Matt Stafford redemption tour begins this week, and I get it.
Well, I mean, you seem very confident in what you're saying, very confident in your picks. So now, if the dream happens and our Chiefs get to the championship, to the Super Bowl, which team would you want to face?
I want the 49ers. The reason, see, this is one of those unique moments where I get to pick with my heart and my head because I think there's this narrative that's come out that, Patrick got outplayed by Jimmy G for 3.5 quarters in that Super Bowl, and Patrick got lucky on a few key plays, and there was all these other intangible. If Emmanuel Sanders catches that touchdown, people forget there was time left on that clock. Patrick and the offense had scored on 3 consecutive drives and had all 3 timeouts still to go. They still would have scored a touchdown and won that game no matter what Jimmy Garoppolo and Emmanuel Sanders connected on that last drive that they had the ball on. So I want to see narratives get destroyed here. So if I had a pick, I know there's other matchups that are sexier, finally getting Patrick versus Aaron Rodgers. I would love to see that. But when it comes to my own selfishness, and if we're being honest here, I want the 49ers. I want the Chiefs to dismantle the 49ers in the Super Bowl so there is no more questions or doubt as far as what really happened in that first matchup. I like rematches. I want that rematch more than anything because I want Patrick and the Chiefs to put that bad boy to bed.
Well, I agree wholeheartedly with you about that. I believe that if they would have scored a touchdown, compared to the other 2 games that we had already witnessed, being down 24 in the first quarter and then being down to the Titans and coming back and winning, there's pretty much no doubt in my mind that we would have went down and scored whatever we needed for that, been a field goal, a touchdown, or whatever we needed to get it done. Shaggy, coming to you now. So what does Shaggyshane have on the predictions? Because I just want to let you know before you start talking, I'm writing all this down, and we're going to revisit this. We're going to revisit this, kind of like I deal with Linda and Tanisha and their choices, that they made. Of course, Linda took the Giants, so that was crazy in itself right there. But I know that from the beginning. But Shaggy, what do you got down? What do you got on these matchups?
For the AFC or the NFC?
For the NFC.
NFC, I'll say that I like the 49ers.
Over the Cowboys.
The what's that?
The 49ers over the Cowboys?
Just because they're they seem to be playing tough, physical football. That game last week against the Rams when their backs were against the wall, they really stepped up and made the plays. That's going to be a close game going to overtime, but I like the Niners in overtime. I think the Buccaneers are going to blow out the Eagles. The Rams and the Cardinals game, I think the Rams will bounce back and they'll win that one. But as for the NFC as a whole, I feel that it's going to come to a head between the Packers and Buccaneers in the NFC Championship game.
Well, that would be a great game. I mean, that would, Aaron Rodgers, once again at home against, Mr. Brady. We know Mr. Brady is Mr. Big Game. He's won, several Super Bowls, and we know what that resume entails.
Right.
I find it kind of funny though, but you said that the 49ers, because they're playing the toughest, the Eagles have the best running game out there possibly. So you just think it's the Tom Brady factor that's going to be the key to that game, because the Eagles, they're a pretty physical team. I mean, they run the ball right at you. You know what's coming. I mean, they don't show a lot of weaknesses. You know what they are, and they have their identity. I know that the Chiefs went down, and we went down there and blew out the Eagles there, and maybe that could be, scoring a little bit. But do you think that Tom Brady, minus AB, minus Godwin and all them, you think he's that much of a factor where he will be able to take care of the Eagles?
I think running Ronald Jones and Leonard Fournette with Gronkowski along with their other tight end, I think his name's Heap, number 84. It's in Tampa. I'm not a fan of the number 7 seed, to be honest with you, of either conference, and we can get to that when we talk to AFC. I think what the NFL has done, bringing 7 teams from each conference in, has done a lot. That was fun. That was an exciting week 17. Oh my gosh, we had all these different scenarios. That was good hype to getting teams into the playoffs. But I think the number 7 team last year, Pat, the number 7 team in the NFC last year was the Mitch Trubisky and the Bears at the Saints, and the Saints dominated them, and the Bears look like a 7th seed. I do like what Nick Sirianni is doing with Philadelphia. I do like what Jalen Hurts has shown this season, especially against the Chiefs, where he passed the ball, 65 times, it seemed like. They are running the ball more now, but I just think at the end of the day, when it comes down to the fourth quarter, we're going to see a number 2 seed in the NFC versus a number 7 seed in the NFC, and I think Tampa Bay will win that.
Makes sense. Definitely makes sense. I'm a Cowboy fan at heart. Transported Chiefs fan, and we all know why. But definitely hoping that the Cowboys can at least get one. So I'm gonna be rooting against the 49ers, even though like Lance said, I'd like to see them in the playoffs. So we'll go over to Darren. Darren, and you've been close to the base. I mean, you get to see these guys. You've seen, you've been in the interview rooms with these teams, and you've seen these players. You know these coaches. What says Darren on these 3 games?
Well, I'm going to do the middle game last because I'm probably go a little bit more when it comes to the Cowboys and the 49ers. But first game first, when you look at the Bucks and the Eagles, I like the experience factor, and a lot of people kind of seem to forget this. And you can use this as it relates to even the Kansas City Chiefs. Experience matters. Game situation matters. Playoff experience is going to matter. It is a big deal that they brought all the important pieces back, minus of course with Antonio Brown. But the fact that are you really going to take Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni over Tom Brady and Bruce Arians when they've been in this situation before? They know what it takes to win. I think outside of Kelsey on the Eagles team, I'm not sure how many players are still there from that Super Bowl team. So I like the Bucks. I think it'll be close early on, first quarter, as both teams get a feel of each other. I do believe they played each other earlier this season because I think the Bucks took on the NFC East. So if that's the case, if I remember correctly, they played each other back in October, and the Bucks beat them 28-22. I do think it'll still be that type of game because the Bucks do have players that are injured on defense. Their cornerbacks, I think they were still injured if they're not out for the season. But you do got Vita Vea, and of course, when you talk about run games, he's the run stopper himself. You got Ndamukong Suh out there as well. So it's going to be hard to run up the middle, run up the gut against this Tampa Bay team. So I do like Tampa. I do like the experience factor that's going to come in there. And again, just the fact that you've got experienced players when it matters most. And this is a playoffs. This is one and done. Tom Brady's not going to, he's not someone that's going to exit in the first round as a defending Super Bowl champion. So I don't think there's going to be any doubt that Tampa wins this game. It's going to be a matter of how many. Going to the Monday night game, I'm still not sold on Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals. I think experience kind of matters. Obviously, this is going to be Matthew Stafford's biggest stage that he'll be in because he's 0-3 as a starting quarterback in the playoffs. But of course, that was with the Detroit Lions. Outside of Megatron, you really didn't have the type of talent. Now he's got the talent. and you look at all the quote unquote Pro Bowl potential Hall of Famers on that defensive side of football, and you look at what he has offensively, the pressure in this game is going to be all on Matthew Stafford. Really not so much on Kyler Murray, just a second, third-year player. But when you look at it, he does have some players. I think J.J. Watt might even try to come back for this game. DeAndre Hopkins, I'm not sure if he's going to be able to make it in this game, but they've lost 4 out of their last 5 games. Now, the one game they won, of course, was against the Dallas Cowboys. So is that an aberration, or is that just a sign of things to come? So I do like the Los Angeles Rams in this game. I think because this game is being played at home, and, of course, the way that they lost last week against the 49ers will leave a bitter taste in their mouth. If anything, I can assure you that those players, especially on defense, will play 60 minutes versus 57 and a half with that interception that Jalen Ramsey had in last Sunday's game. So I do like the Rams in this game. I like them by a touchdown in this game against Kyler Murray. And that's the other thing too. Jalen Ramsey, he's good at going after the quarterback, but this is going to be a big game for Aaron Donald and Von Miller. This is why you bring in Von Miller for the playoffs in this playoff run. Von Miller, Leonard Floyd, Aaron Donald, they're going to tee off after Kyler Murray. I would not be surprised if Kyler Murray doesn't make it out this ball game. Sunday afternoon. Just so you are not by yourself, Pat Mahomes, I've convinced myself to go with the Dallas Cowboys as well in this particular game. Now look, it's not a head over heart or heart versus head. It's just that, just how we talk about, when you get momentum, you can also be on too much of a high going into the playoffs because of the scenario in which you did. The 49ers expended a lot of energy to win that game to get themselves into the playoffs. That could also work against them. Now, I'm with Lance when it comes to being physical, and Shane, when it comes to this team being physical, because they can get after Dak Prescott with their front four. But as I talked about on the show this week, Dallas also has an offensive line with Zach Martin and I think Smith on the left tackle is going to be back in this game. So they've got some players that can put their man grip on you, on that offensive line that put their man grip and like, no, you're gonna go this way. We're not bringing you this way. You're gonna go this way. And so I like the battle that's going to be in the trenches between the offensive and defensive line of these respective teams. I got the Cowboys winning because just look, we talk about knowing the situation and knowing what's at hand. As much as I love Shannon Sharp and how he thinks it's going to be one and done, and look, I do think it's a matter of time before the Dallas Cowboys may unravel, but I don't think it's going to be this game. I think Dak Prescott, knowing the eyes and to talk to Ike Taylor about it, he disagrees respectively, but being paid $75 million, Jerry Jones wants some return on that investment. And while they've put up 50-some points 2 out of the last 3 weeks, it has been against the NFC East. And then of course, the following week, they end up losing the game that you would expect them to win. Even, again, the Arizona Cardinals, they had lost 3 games in a row before coming into AT&T Field. They lost that game. Stuff like that plays with a player's psyche. Now, if Dak Prescott wants to take that next step, wants to be elite, you've got to win the games that you are supposed to win. You're the division champion. You got a home game. You're supposed to win this type of ball game, even if it is against a good 49ers team that's coming in on the road. That's your home. You got to protect your turf. I think that they win. I think now the key for the Cowboys is they're going to have to get on the scoreboard first. Dak Prescott does not play well coming from behind, because you coming from behind, that means that that they've already taken you out of your ball game. It means you can't run the football, and Dak gets all these empty calorie stats when it comes from coming from behind. But I think they'll get the ball first. They'll utilize their strength. They will try to establish the run as best as humanly possible. I think Zeke, his better days have gone by, but I do think Dak and this Cowboys team win. I think it's a close one. I think it's a 28-27. I think the 49ers cover, because that's where I got my money at. The 49ers cover, but the Cowboys win.
Well, I mean, I mean, it was pretty much unanimous on the picks. Darren went with the Cowboys. For the record, I'm just gonna give you mine. I got the Bucks. I got the Bucks winning handily over the Eagles, even though the Eagles have a great run game. Of course, I'm gonna ride with the Cowboys. I'm gonna ride with them. But what? That being said, Darren, what you said, Jerry wants return on his investment, but Jerry wants return on his investment every year. So I don't know if that's really, a factor in the whole situation. But I do feel like the Cowboys, with the improvements they've had on the defensive side of the football, that they have a better chance. I mean, by far they have the most talent of any of these teams left in the playoffs for its skill position players and having some playmakers on defense too. So I'm going to ride with the Cowboys too. And in the last game, man, I mean, I hate to say it, but I got to ride with my boy. I'm a Cliff Kingsbury guy. That's my guy. He treated my son well. We talk all the time. I text with him week to week, and I'm wishing the best for him. I was kind of hoping that O'Connor was going to get to go back to Texas Stadium because AT&T, because I know that he has never lost a game in there, and he's always there to shine. So I'm gonna ride with the Cardinals. We're gonna revisit all this, in a couple of weeks, but that's the way I'm gonna ride with it for now. I'm gonna take a short break.
Pat, I want the record to show it's okay that you'll be wrong compared to my picks. So it's okay. You, Shaggy, Lance, it's okay. It's okay. I do this for a living, so it's okay for you to be wrong. Well, when it matters most.
I've seen you been wrong a few times. I've tuned in. I tuned into a podcast myself, and I know Shaggy and Lance have too. So, that being said, man, I'm gonna take a quick break. Go out and pay some bills real quick. We're going to return back, for Super Wild Card Weekend. That is upon us now. Tomorrow's Friday, so it's going to be upon us, and we'll come back and we'll talk to AFC. We'll start out with you, D, and let you get yours in, since you seem to have so much air in your lungs, and you seem to talk so long. So then hopefully you can give us a little shorter soliloquy once we get to the AFC. So we're going to take a short break here at the Big Mahomes Show. See you back in just a few minutes.
With unlimited free delivery, a Walmart Plus membership helps with whatever life throws your way. And the holidays throw a lot. Like when you make a gift list, check it twice, but still forget someone. Or when you plan a dinner for 4, but 14 show up. Or when you turn away for 2 seconds and your dog eats the turkey. Bad boy, Dino! Walmart Plus saves the holidays with unlimited free delivery on fresh groceries and more at everyday low prices. Start your free trial membership at walmartplus.com. $35 order minimum. Restrictions apply. See membership details.
Back once again here at the Big Mahomes Show. I have my guest in, Lance Twidwell from The Spoken, Shaggyshane from the Shaggyshane Show, and Darren Smith from The Ship, and various other outlets. A jackass of all trades. He does a lot of different things. So, anytime I've had him on a few times before, but, it's always a pleasure talking to him. We're going to switch right back into Super Wild Card Weekend.
I caught that too, Pat. Don't think I catch that.
We're going to move over to the AFC, and I know that's where all the passion is in this room. We got the Raiders versus the Bengals. We got the Patriots versus the Bills. And, of course, the Sunday night game, Steelers versus our beloved Chiefs. I need predictions. I need to know who's going to win, and why are you picking them? We're going to start it off with you, Shaggy. You're the resident. You're the resident scout. You're the resident GM. So who we got?
I like the Bengals over the Raiders. The Raiders' success story has been good, really good, emotionally, because of the passing of the legend John Madden. Since he's passed, there's been a emotional support for the Raiders, even though they're in Las Vegas and not in Oakland. It's good to see what the Raiders have done, but I just think the Bengals, that stadium is going to be rocking. They haven't played a home playoff game since 2015, and that was an emotional, heartbreaking loss to their arch rival, the Steelers. I think that Herbert or the Burrow is just going to be relentless. I think I got the Bengals 30-10. The Bills hosting the New England Patriots, Rich Stadium. It's a tough place to play in playoff time. They went to 4 straight Super Bowls in the AFC. 3 of those AFC Championship games were at home. It's freaking loud. The Bills fans are freaking relentless. They lost a month and a half ago in a hurricane windstorm where the Patriots quarterback only had to pass it 3 times. The Bills get their revenge big time. I don't even think it'll be close. I'm going to say 37-10. The Patriots lost their last 3.
So you don't see any chance of the Patriots going back in there and doing the same thing, running the ball all over, because the weather's going to be pretty bad. It's that time of the year, and Bill Belichick, he's a wizardry on the defense. So I don't expect a high scoring game in any matters. But do you think that the Patriots will be able to keep pounding the ball, running the ball on them, and killing that clock?
I respect Belichick immensely. He's one of the greatest NFL coaches of all time. But I just feel prime time in Buffalo, seeing what that field and that stadium is all about, and the fact that they lost there, and it was such a gut-wrenching loss to them at the time because of the circumstances. I just think the Josh Allen they'll be too much for him. I think they'll win at least by 14.
By 14.
Yeah. And at Arrowhead Stadium, Sunday Night Football, the Steelers come back after being totally destroyed. There are some situations the Chiefs where we worry about Tyreek Hill's heel, but in playoff games, Patrick Mahomes has found other receivers. In Sammy Watkins' 2 first seasons as the Kansas City Chief, he didn't play much regular season, but in his first 2 years as a Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver, he was the most prolific wide receiver in postseason history for the first 2 years, not last year. This entire season, the Chiefs they've been trying to find, at least Chiefs Kingdom. I don't speak for the Chiefs themselves. It seems like they've been trying to find Sammy Watkins' replacement. Who is it? Do we need to go make a run for OBJ? Do we need to get Julio Jones earlier in the summer? But Byron Pringle has stepped up and been a receiver that Patrick Mahomes has trusted. Trust is important. Pat, you know that as a pitcher. When you would come in late in the games in the 8th inning with the tying run on second base, you knew if you had Pudge Rodriguez as your catcher, you knew if you had Mike Piazza as your catcher, if you had that big right-handed batter down on the count 0-2, you could throw a pitch low and away that you knew Piazza and Pudge Rodriguez was going to get in front of to make sure, even if you strike out that batter, that tying run isn't going to go to third on a wild pitch. Patrick has thrown to Byron Pringle on first down, and he'd drop it. If it's not 2 plays later on 3rd and 10, he would throw a completion to him. Patrick trusts Byron Pringle. Chiefs Kingdom should trust Byron Pringle. And the last time the Kansas City Chiefs played the Pittsburgh Steelers, Byron Pringle had 2 touchdowns. That says a lot. When you earn a quarterback's trust in key situations, especially after big drops, Byron Pringle, I feel, will have another huge game. And I think the Chiefs will win 38-28. And the only reason I got it by 10 points is it'll be 38-14 going into the 4th quarter. That's my AFC prediction.
Okay. Well, what about what are your feelings about Josh Gordon? Well, you think that maybe he can have a big role here in the playoff, being a big receiver? I know he hasn't shown a lot this year, but for some reason, I got this inkling that he's going to come up big in a game, and I'm feeling this may be the game, with the Steelers with the shorter defensive backs and stuff. So, do you think that's a possibility? And if you don't, then why not?
I think it's always a possibility. I think it depends what packages Andy Reid puts out on the field. If Josh Gordon's out there in some packages, he might get some balls thrown to him. His only touchdown was against the Raiders on that quick screen, that the wide receiver screen at the 1-yard line. Is it possible? I would never say it's impossible with Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid as your head coach. But again, it's got to come to the packages if he's out there in the schemes on the field, because a lot of times they go to Marcus Robinson, Tyreek Hill, McCole Hardman, Byron Pringle. If I'll say like this, and I think everybody in Chiefs Kingdom will agree. Any wide receiver that gets out on the field with Pat Mahomes as the quarterback has got a great chance to catch the football. Even you, Pat. Go deep.
All right. Hey, Darren, come on. It's your turn. Let's see what you got.
First of all, I wonder if you got some sort of inside information that I can utilize for my parlay on Sunday. You asking about Josh Gordon in this matter, because the only time he caught a touchdown was when I asked the coaches that week during the press conference whether or not, he had been a failure since they've been there. The next thing you know, he gets in the end zone. So perhaps I should have asked that this week. When we look at the first game, you've got the Raiders against the Cincinnati Bengals. I do like the Bengals in this game, obviously, looking at the situation with the Raiders and what they had to do to come in to make it into the playoffs. Look, the last time these two teams played, Cincinnati beat them pretty handily. And I don't see, because this is a different Bengals team than the one that, when Andy Dalton and Marvin Lewis was there. So they don't remember what it's like to make it to the playoffs and lose the first game out. So I do like Cincinnati. I do like the combination of Jamar Chase, Joe Mixon, as well as Joe Burrow in this game. And their defense, even though I'm still not a believer, I think it's more so the Chiefs play calling in the second half versus the Bengals defense. I think their defense is good enough to beat and to advance them to the next round past the Las Vegas Raiders. I think the Raiders season will gracefully come to an end. When you look at the second game, the Buffalo Bills hosting the New England Patriots. I do believe that the Patriots do have what it takes, because they did it earlier this year, to go into Buffalo, and with it being inclement weather, they can beat them. Now, whether or not they do, I think it's going to be a close game. And if it gets to the fourth quarter and it's still a 3, 4, 7-point ball game, I wouldn't hold it past Bill Belichick. The difference between Bill Belichick and everybody else, he's willing to do what's not pretty to win a ball game. He doesn't have a problem whether you, Shaggy, Lance, or anybody else cares if he runs the football 46 times, if that's what it takes to win. Patrick Mahomes, to his credit, later on after that game was played, said that if that's what it took for them to win, he's okay with it. Now, Andy Reid, I don't know, you put him on the truth serum, he's not going to want to do that. But that's in his DNA. So to answer the question, I do believe the Bills escape out of Buffalo, and I think because it's going to be, but I don't know. This, because the weather is bad, I can see a scenario where the Patriots win this ball game. But because I'm a stickler for revenge, I got the Bills win this game, because I do want them to come back to Arrowhead so the Chiefs can get in that ass. Now, last but not least, of course, we're looking at the Steelers and the Chiefs. Look, my Super Bowl matchup is Chiefs and the Bucs. So I'm not going to be someone that's going pick against his own self. So I do have the Chiefs winning this game, winning by 26 last month, 36-10. It can give you an air of confidence going into the ball game. I know before we were on the show, Lance, kind of talked about how, it might have been Shaggy. He had no doubt whatsoever on this game. Look, you always got to leave a little bit of doubt, because I thought that the Chiefs weren't gonna get their ass handed to them by Tennessee. I didn't think that they were going to lose against the Bengals, and stranger things have happened. But I will say this: the loss against the Cincinnati Bengals couldn't have come at a better time, because if you go into the playoffs on a 10-game winning streak, you start to believe that your stuff doesn't stink. And Steve Spagnuolo had to get humbled in that game with Jamar Chase and the Bengals to kind of bring him back into reality. So I do like Kansas City in this game. I trust Patrick Mahomes. Won't make any mistakes in the game against the Steelers. He had 3 touchdowns. He only threw for 258 yards, but I mean, it was effective. He only had 7 incompletions, 23 out of 30 in that ball game. He did spread the ball around. I think Byron Pringle's not going to be a factor as much in this game because of what he did last game. Tomlin will be better prepared. Now, you didn't have Travis Kelce in that game. Kelsey's going to play a big role in that game. Tyreek Hill will be healthy in this game, and so I think you'll see more. Patrick to Hill to Kelsey than you will everyone else, because again, when it matters most, this is big time. This is big time. So you're going to rely on your big play players, and so I do like Kansas City in this game, 35-13 over the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think the starters will rest midway through the fourth quarter so they can rest and get better prepared for the divisional game the following week.
Okay, well, I like the numbers so far. Yeah,
I figured you would.
Both have the same teams right now so far. So we're gonna go to the chosen one, Mr. Spoken. What we got, Lance? What we got on
Don't be so quick. Hey, real quick, I gotta say this. Okay, about your Cowboys pick, Darren. Let's be honest here. Something we didn't address, and I know, Pat, you're going to hate hearing this. So if you want to close the ears, it's cool, man. Greg Zuerlein, Greg the Leg, has become Greg the Beg because the guy can't beg for a kick anymore, man. He's been 6 PA. He's killing this team. Jerry Jones has talked about it. I think that's in their head. I'm just throwing that out there. I hope, Pat, for you, they win. I don't see it, though.
Noted.
On the AFC side of things, look, this season has been chaotic, and all four of us know this to be a fact. This has been an insane season. And one of the most insane things is the fact that the Raiders and Steelers are in the playoffs. Even the Bengals, to their credit. We thought they were a year away. Joe Burrow's the truth, but they're a year away. No, all three of these teams are in the playoffs currently, and none of us saw this happening. So,
whoa, Shaggy. I mean, I'm sorry, Lance. Now we talked about this because I did say the Raiders was that because you had Derek Carr, you had John Gruden. Now I didn't know how the situation was going to unfold throughout the season with somebody vehicular homicide or whatever. So I mean, so hold on now.
Now we got some debate going on.
Yeah,
okay. Come on.
I believed in the Raiders now. Now the other two teams, I give it to you.
All right. So there's a reason I'm bringing up all the chaos in the league, especially on the AFC side of things, the unpredictability of it, is because I had the Raiders initially as a 5-win team this season. I thought they were a disaster. I thought they were just a bunch that was denying themselves of what really are, which is I just don't think I think they're a poverty franchise. And that was with their head coach they've had since 2018. That was with their first round wide receiver in Henry Ruggs. That was with their first round corner in Damon Arnett. All three of those guys are gone. This team has no business being here. So why would we even count them in as a winner of this game, right? Because this season has been nuts, fellas. I think the Raiders have a very, very good chance of winning this game, as insane as it sounds. Just like it sounds insane that the Raiders are in the playoffs outside of Darren. Think about this, guys. The Bengals are the worst defense in the league against tight end. The Raiders offense is predicated around what? Derek Carr throwing Darren Waller. And I think that he is going to absolutely eat in this game. And on the flip side, everybody knows Joe Burrow is an incredible quarterback, and they got all these weapons, especially downfield. They led the league in 50-plus yard plays this season. But what are the Raiders great at on defense? Getting to the quarterback. And Joe Burrow has been hit more than any quarterback this season. I think the Raiders are going to disrupt the Bengals game plan. I think they're going to make things a living hell for them. I am picking the Raiders in this game. The Raiders are going to win a playoff game in Cincinnati. Book it down, fellas. I got that game as it currently stands for me. I got the Raiders winning this game.
Hold on. Before you even go further, first of all, Bengals beat the Raiders on their own home turf inside a dome, 32-13.
Yes.
The Raiders are not an outdoor team. They are in Las Vegas. This game is going to be in Cincinnati. So if you don't know what the weather is, trust me, I was there. It is cold in Cincinnati. Raiders. So again, we're gonna circle back on that, but just keep that in mind. The Raiders are not an outdoor team, and Darren Waller has been injured most of the season as well. So trust me, when he gets hit,
Shaggy. He looks stunned. He cannot believe those words just came out of Lance's mouth.
Exactly.
So, that's just gonna be said.
I'm shocked because on the spoken prediction show on Labor Day weekend, I think two of them had the Raiders winning one game this year, so I'm flabbergasted.
It's chaos, fellas. It's chaos.
Chaos it is.
We're talking about a Raiders and Bengals playoff game, fellas. The Bengals won a playoff game since 1990.
But Lance, to your point though, now this is important, and I talked about this on the show this week. When a team wins against an opponent, and then you have to play them again. Now, outside of a Division 4, but you have to play them again, and you meet up in the playoff. Most of the time, the winning team don't make adjustments. They figure what they did before will win. Now, it will be imperative on the Raiders to go back and look at the tape, of course, and see what what worked and what didn't work, and they can make the changes. A la Kansas City, Tampa Bay last year when Chiefs went down to Tampa, beating the way they did. Chiefs felt like they didn't have to make any adjustments. Tampa Bay made all the adjustments, beat the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Of course, there are other factors involved, but to your point, I can see a scenario where if the Raiders, but again, talking about a Raiders team that love penalties and love to shoot themselves in the foot. This is still the Raiders organization now,
All right. Come on, Lance. Come on. Bills, Patriots.
All right, so Bills-Patriots. This is another game where you talk about the Bills that have beaten the Patriots 3 of the last 4 times. They clearly have the best quarterback in this. It's not close. They have the better skill position players. They have the better defense overall just by the numbers. But here's the thing, man. This is going to be a game that is, I think, decided by the weather again. I think this is going to be one of those games where Josh Allen does struggle because he even admitted he has a circulation problem where his feet will literally go numb in the cold. Now, you can sit here and say, well, whose feet doesn't go numb in the cold? Well, when you have a circulation problem, it's a little bit different than us normal folk that just simply get cold. So I think this is going to be one of those games where it comes down to what happens in the red zone. Because something we know about Josh Allen that is consistent throughout his career to this point is the man is lethal in the red zone. In fact, he's never turned the ball over in his career in the red zone. He's the greatest quarterback we've ever seen in the red zone to this point. Having said that, I had to ask myself when I thought about this matchup, and our show's not till Saturday, so I've still been thinking about it up until you just asked me that question, Pat. Which is going to matter more? The advantage that the Patriots have at head coach or the advantage that the Bills have at quarterback? Now, most times it's going to be quarterback, but I think Bill Belichick is going to capitalize once again in inclement weather. I think that this cold is going to benefit the Patriots' style because it doesn't make sense for the Patriots to win that first game, even with the win, because they weren't the better team in that game. Josh Allen missed on several throws in the red zone, as ironic as it was that I just praised him. He missed several throws that should have won them that game. I think things like that are going to apply once again because there is pressure on the Bills in this game because they should win. They're at home once again, and they already lost a home game to the Patriots. I think the pressure is going to be too much on Josh Allen's numb feet, and I think the Patriots advance in this game, and I have them winning a very, very close game by probably 2 or 3 points. Now, if you guys have any reactions, feel free to give me them because I'm about to move on to the most important game that I know we've all been waiting to talk about. So I'll give you a brief second.
I'm just trying to think of if I should make me a 3-team parlay because you don't pick 2 money line games, so there might be some money involved in this thing here. But I think I know what the answer is going to be on the last game. But we're gonna let you talk about it anyway.
Listen, as much chaos as we talk about when it comes to this NFL season in particular, there's always calm on the other side. You know what that calm is? Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah!
Patrick Mahomes is the one consistent in all of this. See, it's funny. We talked about all season long about the quote-unquote broken. He ain't good no more. Like Ryan Clark loved to say on ESPN over and over again. There's a lot of people that were very quick to and talk about the adjustments and how Patrick Mahomes can't make the 90-yard throws anymore, so therefore the Chiefs are doomed. And here we are, looking at a team that in all respects probably should have gotten the 1 seed. Doesn't matter, because here we are looking at a matchup that is honestly the biggest David and Goliath matchup we have ever seen. This time, though, Goliath is going to win. Because what's going to happen is Patrick Mahomes is going to implement himself as the face of the NFL once again. Whether the media likes it, whether anybody else likes it, it doesn't matter, because he is the inevitable. He is inevitable. And what's going to happen is you've seen in his against AFC playoff teams in his playoff career, he is 5-1, averages 295 yards, 18 total touchdowns, 0 interceptions. That is historically great. Now, I don't know about you guys, and I hate to try to talk down on another franchise, especially one as respected as the Steelers have been throughout the last 60, 70 years. But you can't tell me that this isn't the worst matchup imaginable for the Steelers and the best matchup imaginable for the Chiefs. The Chiefs are going to roll in this.
I agree wholeheartedly.
The Chiefs are going to 100% roll in this game again. I know people try to say, well, it's the playoffs, it's different. Guys, the Steelers cannot score. And if I was to tell you that the Chiefs are playing the Browns this week, would you be worried? No. But you know what? The Browns scored more points this season than the Steelers did. If I was to tell you, hey, the Chiefs are playing the Dolphins this week, would you be worried? No. But the Dolphins allowed fewer points this season than the Steelers did. I'm telling you guys, this is going to get ugly quick. Patrick's going to be on fire. I don't think it matters what game style or what mindset the Chiefs come into this game with. They're simply the better team with the better head coach and the better quarterback. They're going to win this game by over 25 points once again.
That was outstanding, guys. I mean, very outstanding. Hey, we're going to finish up real quick. We're going to have the lightning round. I'm going to ask you I'm going to ask you. I want 1-word answers so we can get out of here. We about done ran out of time, so we're going to go quick. Super Bowl pick. Who you got? Super Bowl winners.
Chiefs.
Oh, it's Chiefs.
Shaggy?
Chiefs.
Darren?
Well, my money's on the Chiefs, so I'm going with the Chiefs.
All right. MVP.
Patrick Mahomes.
Should be Pat. It's going to be Aaron Rodgers.
Darren?
It'll be Mahomes. I'm not sure how Rodgers is going to win it. You talking about Super Bowl or the league?
No. Regular season MVP.
Oh, well, yeah. Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers. Defensive player of the year.
TJ
Without
Watt.
question, TJ Watt.
Trayvon Diggs.
Should be Micah Parsons.
well, you can have the same answer, Darren. Rookie of the year, offense and defense.
Offense it'll be Jamar Chase. Defense it'll be Micah Parsons.
If it's not Micah Parsons, it's fixed. Has to be Micah Parsons.
Yeah.
Overall rookie of the year. Who we going with? Waddle, we going with Chase, we going with Parsons. Who we got?
Oh, overall, well, since they only do about offense and defense. So I think offense it'll be Jamar Chase again. Defense it'll be Micah Parsons.
I echo that.
I second and third that.
Hey guys, it's been great. Once again, thank y'all for joining me here at the Big Mahomes Show. Like I said, we're going to come back and we're going to revisit some of these picks that we made and make fun of each other as usual, and try to sort everything out. I'm gonna take a quick short break. Once again, thank y'all for coming out to the Big Mahomes Show. If you got anything you want to say, anything you want to finish with, let's get it done. Number one Mahomie, baby. Number one Mahomie. That's where I met old Shaggyshane.
Well, Pat, I put it like this, man. You come in town this weekend, man. Let's all link up and go over to Gates Barbecue, man. Feed you well.
I've been there a couple times. I'm still trying to figure out the KC barbecue. I'm still a Texas barbecue guy, but we can definitely go out and have a cold beverage and spend a little time together. So like I said, once again, man, thank y'all all for coming out and helping me out on the Big Mahomes Show, and looking forward to seeing y'all this weekend.
At Walmart, we're making it easy to get everything you need to go all in and all out all season long. And with fast delivery in 2 hours or less, your holidays could sound like this.
Okay, spiced chestnut candles, check. Snowman throw pillows, check.
And a few hours to spare before the fam gets here.
Or even like this.
Charcuterie board with fresh prosciutto? I guess my girl did pick the right guy.
Get all the groceries, gifts, and more for a holiday they won't forget. Enjoy fully. Walmart. Delivery fees and restrictions apply.
Welcome back to the Big Mahomes Show. I'm your host, Pat Mahomes. We're to the part of the show that I call the Big Mahomes moment, where I sit back and talk about what's on my mind for this week. Today, on my mind is the return of Klay Thompson to the Golden State Warriors and Kyrie Irving returning to the Brooklyn Nets. We both know that Klay hasn't played in a couple of years. It's almost been 3 years since he came back, and the crowd was crazy for him when he came back. He came back doing the same thing he did as when he left, which was shoot the basketball. He shot the ball 18 times. I think he had 17 points, but it was good to see him back out on the court once again. He's a key guy for the Warriors. I think he can put them over the hump and then put them back in that contention of having a chance to play, for an NBA championship. A great shooter, a great passer, exactly what the Warriors need at this point. Kyrie Irving's back for a different reason. We all know that he decided not to get vaccinated, and they have a mandate there at the stadium, so he's only getting to play visiting games. He's not getting to play at home. All this can be fixed if he just go get the vaccine, but for some reason, his own personal reason, he decided not to do that. So once again, it was good to see him back out there. The Nets are a way better team with him out there. There's nobody in this league that has handles like Kyrie Irving and that can score the basketball like Kyrie Irving. That's going to be a key addition for him. I just hate to see it that if he can't play at home and then they get a 7-game series and 4 games at home, and, that would put the Nets at a big disadvantage. Makes you want to think that they're paying this guy all this money to play just away games. Seems like to me the sensible thing would be to go pay the fine and give in. And let him be able to play the home game. I think it's like $1,000 a game or something like that. So that shouldn't be nothing but a scratch in the pocket of some of these owners. So that's just my opinion. Once again, thank you all for tuning in to the Big Mahomes Show. Please go subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast. And as always, I'm out.
Play, talk, listen. Yo, it's the Big Mahomes Show. Come on, homie, get with it. Play, talk, listen, you love it, so go repeat it. Play, talk, listen.